Okay, so and we have Frank. Okay, awesome. So I was just showing everybody here that how Dan was setting up the pattern for Zulip, where we create a topic for a meeting, and then for each thing you want to vote on, you create a topic, and I created a poll for the bike collar, which he was suggesting, and McDonald's or Wendy's for lunch. Where did I do that? Yeah, it's pretty picky about the format here. So so I zeroed out lunch. Should probably delete those. I added lunch, and then I voted for McDonald's. Um, and I added the burgers. Burger King as an option for lunch. And then I changed my vote for lunch. And the GovBot told me in a private message that I changed my vote here. Whatever. That's GovBot. That's one part of the problem that we have is updating this GovBot. And basically the plan is that we can implement these operations following the pattern that we have in Colab. And essentially we go back to the robot testing channel here, and we can see where we did a vote. Okay, so we create a new ballot here, and in order to set that new ballot, we run some Roland code. So over here, when we in the voting bot, we call the PY RChain function to perform the exact same function that we do over here, when we create a new ballot. And well, in any case, over here we have macros. Like this is the way we change our delegate. And we're going to change the wording now. We're going to talk about proxies instead of delegates, because the bylaws talk about mention proxies but not delegates. Just to be clear what we're doing, we'll call it proxy. So there's a number of things that we do here, and we had macros in this case. Now in RChain, we're going to make a template. So we copy and paste this, and we change it into a template. And to do that, there's a number of things we have to do. For one thing is, we depend here on standard out. Well, we can't depend on standard out anymore. We have to have a channel where we collect the output, and then we read the output. When the deploy is complete, we get the output back, and we just, we process it. We have it print out the way we want it to print out. Okay, so we're going to change the standard out, and when we write the standard out, that's a class that we have to define. A log class. We're going to create a log where it's going to create a list of all the messages that are going to the log, and then it's going to return those as part of the results of the deploy. Any questions on that?
No, that sounds pretty solid.
All right, so, and then we have the variables that are the $ variables that it uses. Well, first of all, I mean, we're going to change the locker. Maybe we'll get around to doing that today. I don't know. But so it's going to use the new locker. We're going to change that. And then where it has other variables, in here, and we'll have a different mechanism for getting an inbox. But where the macro has a $ here, the RChain template has %name %. And it substitutes into the row line. We create a JSON structure, which puts the values in that has the values for all the % variables we have. We can look at that if you want, but the RChain templates essentially replace these macros, and then we have the so we modify the robot, we modify the voting bot to call the RChain templates, which are going to basically call this what we now call issue.row, used to be called ballot.row. And since a ballot can have multiple issues on it, we can change the name. And, initially, we're just going to create separate issues, and then consider the future thing to combine onto how we're going to maintain separate ballots and separate channels, which is phase 2 of the development, not phase 1. Phase 1 is we just want to get this to run on Zulip. Okay, so
wait, hey Jim, could you explain that again? What phase 2 was?
Oh, phase 2 is to have is where you can create, let's say, 10 issues in 10 channels to have 10 ballots.
So each of those 10 ballots, they'd be running concurrently?
Right. And, I mean, there's that can be done easily. Oh boy. Hello. Sorry.
Oh, no worries. And then, so right now is the Liquid Democracy contract, is that smart contract? Does that only allow one proposal to be voted on at a time?
Um,
Is that what we're trying to like accomplish through this second phase?
well, yeah, the second phase we're going to create another class, which is going to take multiple issues. Basically, it will create a ballot class that has multiple issues. But we're not worried about that now. We just want to get this to work on Zulip. Okay, and also, when we, we're using the database replication also. I don't know how we're using it. Maybe we're not using it. I don't know. I guess we don't have to use it. But if basically we'll have these issues. We'll have issues, and we're using an object. We're definitely using an object capability model, so it will be different. But we could take, where we have an issue breakfast. Okay, we could simply these issues here don't even have a name. Okay, it returns capabilities. Okay, when we create an issue, it returns an admin capability and a tally capability. Tally capability is to print the results. Admin is to give people the right to vote and all that stuff.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't even have a name, okay, at this point. So the structure for naming these things all comes out separate. And as part of the, for each channel, so we could have, we could limit it to have, we have one ballot per channel, so to speak, or maybe one ballot, we could, maybe we have one ballot per channel topic. I don't know. Right now, the way we're doing it is each topic has one issue, which I guess makes more sense. But we're so when we move this over, we okay. The main thing here, we create this. We create this thing, and I can go over this. I don't know if everybody know how much time we want to spend on each of these things. It's kind of an overview today. But the admin capability here, okay, is going to the admin contract has a give right to vote is one of the capabilities of the admin, and it can so we have a name here, and what's the name? I guess we have to make a final decision as to what's going to be the name here, and how we're going to keep it. Essentially, we're going to have a Zulip. This was a Discord name. We can make it a Zulip name. But we also, the one thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to associate a Zulip name with a Rev address. That, we can worry about that a little bit, somewhat separately. But this can be a Zulip name. The only problem with that is, these change, and then it has to look up the name in the community. I mean, you're going to have to look up the name in the community and find the mailbox in order to send them the right to vote. But this class just creates the capability. It doesn't worry about how you get it, that capability to that person. And here again, we have a trace, and we probably want to, so we're going to have a class for logs, and we're going to return the logs at the end of the deploy.
And then that the vote channel and delegate channel right underneath that, does that just mean it opens up two channels in parallel and allows them to either cast their vote or to delegate to another person?
Okay, when in the admin contract here, when I want to give somebody the right to vote, right, it's going to create a new voter capability, which it's ultimately going to return. You're going to give that capability to the user in order for them to vote. Okay, and then it has a vote channel where it stores something, where it's going to actually store their vote. Whatever vote they made, it's going to store in the vote channel. And then there's a delegate channel too, which if they change their proxy for this issue, it's going to set the delegate channel.
I see. And proxy, that's the same thing as a delegate, right?
Right. Okay, the person has a default delegate, but they can change it per issue. And so here they don't specify a delegate here because the admin doesn't choose the delegate, the voter chooses the delegate. So I write nil to the vote channel so that there's something there to read. Otherwise, I'll have a deadlock when I go to try to read it. So I put a nil there in the vote channel. That's their current vote. No, they haven't voted yet. And they haven't set a delegate yet. So I set that to nil. Okay, so basically this right to vote, this voter object, has these two data fields, so to speak, associated with it that are stored on a channel. Right? Did you get that, Frank?
Wait, so our vote channel and delegate channel, the one you have highlighted, are those objects as well, or is only
They're
vote?
just names. There's only names and messages in row line. That's it. You only have a channel and a process. There's nothing else. There's
So these all classify as names then? The
yes.
voter, vote channel, and delegate.
When you say new, you give a list of names, and these are unforgeable names. If nobody can use them unless you somehow pass them that name. You have to send it to them somehow. That's object capability model. Okay, so this voter object, this voter capability that we're creating as a right to vote. Well, it says assign default, but I don't think I was going to do that here. Interesting. It is assigned. I think this comment is wrong. Because you'll see that the delegate is assigned elsewhere. For voters. Okay, so now I read the voter channel. I'm still in. I made a voter channel. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, so I created a voter channel here. Oh, this is a vote channel, not voter channel. Okay, so the voter channel. The voter channel should have been written here. Here it is. The voter channel, I give it the empty set. I'm creating the ballot. There's no voters when I create it. They have to be added. Now here, I get the current list, which is an empty map, and I make a union with this voter, the name of this voter. It's interesting. I don't know if I would want to store the capability there with it, if it's needed. I just store the name in it. So we end up with a map of who's allowed to vote on this, of what names have been added anyway. Who can vote on? Okay, so then it returns the voter. That's the end of the give right to vote. Now it's the responsibility of the admin to give this voter object to the person with this name. And that means they have to have a mailbox or something to send it to, which is part of the community contract. Feel free to interrupt me anytime, questions here. Okay, but then, so then we can see with the, if you have a voter object, okay, one thing you can do is return what your current choice is. And this logic here goes through a loop. If you haven't voted, it sees if your delegate has voted. If your delegate hasn't voted, it sees that his delegate's not voted until it gets to a not nil vote. Delegate, I mean. Well, either a not, no. If the vote is not nil or the delegate is not nil, then it'll continue through this loop. Okay, to see what your current vote is. And that's interesting. Okay, it's dynamic because this was designed so you could change your vote anytime. You change your delegate anytime. So anytime you look to see what the vote is, it has to go through and see if anything's changed. The voter delegate just sets the delegate. And so we should have voter vote, admin, voter choice, voter delegate. I don't get it. I'm blind. Yeah. So this is where so when the voter votes, this is the vote contract. And that just sets the choice. The choice is the one that reports what the vote was after it follows the chain of delegates. Any questions on that? There's certainly other mechanisms that could be used, but this was the one that we wanted to make. And certainly there could be many versions of this contract that do things differently. The only other thing is the tally, which reports the result. And this actually goes through and it counts all the results. Okay. And if we want to see how these are used, we can go back here and we can look at what a tally does. And I'll just show you. Okay, there's a votes results macro, which goes through and here it dumps out all the results. Who was who the delegates were, and what their vote was. Where is it? It looks like we just ended up with 4 happies here. Oh, there's a bunch of examples here in any case. So if we do a yeah. Whoops. Jump to president. Okay, if I show the vote here, you can see what it goes through when it votes. And I'll let you guys discuss this while I go help my wife for a minute. I'll be right back. And,
All right. Good luck, Jim.
yeah, see if you have any questions. Okay, everybody understand what that does?
Yeah, that looks good. Unless anyone else.
So I guess I sort of wanted to show you is how we can see what these do. Now, obviously, we're going to replace the locker, so that's going to be different. Okay, we're going to but otherwise, it's going to be pretty much the same. Okay, so the person's going to have an inbox somewhere in the inbox. They're going to have a vote capability on a ballot. And that's going to return capabilities, a vote capability. Well, yeah, the voter capability. And the voter capability lets them do a vote. You guys all got this, huh? Excellent. All right, so and then, you know, and then well, the basically though, where this starts is with the community contract. And the community, and this is where we create the membership. We could call it membership. We could call it group or team or anything else. Community is what it's called right now. Okay, which is really any group of people. And then we're going to create a new communities, okay, which create a directory of members. And the directories have read, write, and grant permissions. Grant permissions, that's so you can modify your own, you know, that's so you can modify your own. It's a capability to modify just one key. And if we look at directory here, we can see that the read, right? Rand. So the grant contract, okay, is created for a particular key. So when we create the grant capability, we tell it what key we want, which is your name, right? Or it could be your Zulip name, or it could be your web address. We haven't really decided yet. We can start with this, you know, since before we used Discord names, we can use Zulip names for now. But we have to bind those Zulip names to a web address at some point. And that would be the next thing we look at here. And so there's a right key permission created for this particular key, which which does a write of this key with this value. Okay, and the write capability is defined down here. Okay, some of these things, so the write capability, if you give it a nil, it deletes the key. So I just overloaded the write with a delete. Could have made a separate delete here, but basically the same people who would write would delete. I could have made this modify and did quote write quote here, and then had a quote delete, but I didn't need it. That's all I needed was the one thing delete. So if the value you pass it as nil, it deletes the key. And it writes it back to the map channel. Otherwise, it sets the value and writes it back to the map channel. Okay.
And this is kind of an off-topic question, but something I was wondering about. What's the throughput for a Roland code like this? Like, how many transactions per second would it be able to scale at? Or not even transactions per second, but just like how many votes would it be able to handle without it, say, like overflowing the system?
Yeah, I don't think we don't really know. If you look back here, where, okay, so we look at this and we can see that it started at 526. And down here it's 527. So basically, I mean, we don't know. We don't know how long it really took. But if we assume it wasn't doing much else, $528. Okay, 528. It would take less than a minute. I don't know. We'll see what I mean. The Roland execution does seem kind of sort of slow. Like when these were running, we could see some delay, or it seemed like there was some delay. Of course, when we redo this, we're going to get the results back all in one time. It's going to complete the whole thing, and then it's going to send us the results back. But it still hasn't necessarily reached a consensus on that yet.
Oh, okay. And yeah, I just want to see how it would scale.
Yeah. In principle, it doesn't have that much to do, really. It should be pretty quick, but we don't know. I don't have any idea. Sorry. And how to optimize it, how to make it run faster is, well, certainly not our issue at this point. If we try to keep, okay, the way this Rolang works pretty much is it's eventually consistent.
Keyword there, eventually.
Right. So if we try to update things and keep everything up to date to the instant, we're going to screw up. We're going to, get stuff wrong. Which is why I have the, I don't try to keep a tally of the votes live. I wait until the end to get it. That way, it's not going to get screwed up by, things changing in the middle. Okay, so it's really pretty simple. I mean, we have a bunch of macros that we need to make RChain templates for. We have community, we have issue, and we have directory. We have an inbox, which we have to redo. And the locker. But we have a model for the locker, and we have 15 minutes left today. I always like to get one thing done. Make sure to get one thing done in any work study. And hopefully I won't, we can have different people take a piece of this and, and present, and then present the next meeting or whatever. So I'm not always presenting, but thank you. Where am I? Okay, the final thing here is the authentication, where we want.
I see crypto kitties. I like it already.
Okay, so we have Django Web3 Auth is a pluggable Django app, and Zulip is a Django app, right? That enables login sign up via Ethereum wallet. User authenticating themselves by digitally signing the session key with their wallet's private key. Okay, so if we install this, we could try to do. We could do that today. Start on that today, or we can wait till Thursday. The other thing that I wanted to look at today was the new locker. Sort of a prerequisite to other work in RChain here is the new wallet and the new inbox, really. We look at issues here. Use peak where appropriate. When we wrote the code, peak was not available. So a lot of times we read the data when we don't really need to read it. We could just do a peak. Locker using deployer ID, no other crypto, no registry. Okay, so this is the locker that Dan proposes. And it may be a little, we may just we could just use it. Now here, I'm not quite sure why he's making the locker name locker named locker one. It would seem to me that if you're going to name a locker, the user should name it, right? And so basically he's defining a contract here with the deployer, and he's using a pattern here where the name of the contract consists of three parts. What we were just looking at used the pattern where we put the operation as part of the arguments, as part of the pattern, rather than part of the name. There's advantages both ways. An advantage doing it this way is that I don't know. I don't know if anybody else has ideas on which way it's better to do it. And I guess making the locker name part of the name I'm wondering about a little bit. But anyway, I guess this is fine. Anybody have any comments? I would tend to put the locker name as an argument. So the same contracts would work for any locker name. Right now, these contracts only work for this locker name, which seems silly. Why not have a set of contracts that work for any locker name? Maybe it means that to be a version, locker version 1. Maybe
so you're talking about setting a variable there so that the user would be able to name their own locker. Is that what you're trying to get at?
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna, I mean, it might as well. It seems like we might as well do that. Now here it sees matching this. This locker is not a variable. It's constant. He's using this match statement here to do a trick. I don't know if everyone's aware of this trick, but he's not matching anything in the string locker 1. All he's doing here is he's binding the name locker name to the string locker 1. Any questions on that? You guys get that, right? if I were to use it in a more traditional way, I could match locker one with something like I don't know. Any example I have here is convoluted. In principle, I should be able to do I don't know if that would work. Yeah, that wouldn't work. But this is the opposite way you normally use a lock. Usually you would have an unknown here, and then you would see what it is here. But here it's saying whatever it is, bind it to the name locker. I'm matching it against a pattern, which is just a name. Does anyone want to take on doing updating Locker? I think Theo, you worked on Locker, right?
Yeah, I remember the code.
Huh? Did you're the one who was working on Locker, correct?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the code. We went through it a couple of times. But I'm not sure I will be able to do it this week, like help in any way, because we'll be probably busy setting up my node.
Okay. Anybody else up for it? I mean, I can help you. Anybody else for working on Locker this week?
I'd be up for working on Locker, but I'll warn you, I'm really not an experienced programmer, so I may need more help than you think.
Okay, well, let's get it to bigger times when we can have just you and me, so we're not slowing down anybody else.
Yeah, sure.
That's the only way you get experience.
But how about what's today? Tuesday. How about tomorrow after the debrief?
Yeah. What time's the debrief at?
That's at 2 p.m. New York time. Where are you again?
Okay, that'd be 1 p.m. for me, Chicago. Yeah, and just a little background on myself. I started researching Ethereum back in my sophomore year. And from there, it led me into like the Solidity documentation. And that's when I first saw the ballot proposal. And I kind of got it into like voting infrastructure from there. And that eventually led me to RChain.
Nice. Yep. Yeah, I know you're interested in different kinds of voting. So after we get this done, you might want to try try doing another voting mechanism. And I guess you're into prediction markets also.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. Okay, so we have oops, wrong one. Where is it? Where'd it go? This must be it here. Okay, so here's where I was looking in the Zulip to see where the login screen was, and I can see that that's in the HTML file here, Django. But we have instructions here for, oops, I didn't want to do that. We have instructions here for installing the plugin here for Django. So we'll try it. Do a pip install. Anybody know? Pip is the install program for Python. And that will just install all the dependencies. Add it to your installed apps. Where do I put installed apps? Wonderful. So what I'll do, still building this whole thing. Taking its time. I'll make another window. And I'm running Windows 10 with WSL2. And CD Zulip. Rep, recursive, installed apps, star. Whoops. I didn't mean to do a star. Boy, that takes a long time. Why is that taking such a long time? That doesn't make sense. Star. Oh, it's doing them all recursively. I'm not familiar. Who knows? Is installed apps part of Django, I guess? I don't see it. I don't exactly see where I'm going to. Oops. Where am I? I'm in the wrong place here. Huh. I didn't parent. So I guess I don't know what it means to add it to the installed apps. I mean, if we look up Django Installed apps. Installed apps, subdirectory. Installed app configs.
I found it. It's in settings .py.
Settings.py, thank you. Settings, that's in, where's settings? Z project. What? Okay, so this is where we stick it. Required settings. Middleware. Installed apps. This is where it goes. Look at that. They have a comment after the last item. That's unusual. Interesting.
Okay, see
Python
you
is
next.
really picky about lining everything up.
See you next time, Jim. I'm going.
All right. Thanks for stopping by, Raphael. And hopefully
You're right.
you can find some piece of this that you want to help with. All
Yep.
right. And you know,
Maybe,
just
yes.
let us know. We'll set it up. You can show us or whatever. That would be great.
Okay.
Thanks, Raph. Yeah. So now we have authentication backends. Okay, Control C. So is that in this file also, Ed? I don't know where this is. Do I just add this whole thing?
It's in the same file.
Oh, here it is, authentication backends. How did I miss that? Zulip dummy backend. So, that didn't happen. Something's missing here.
You probably also want to retain the plus equal sign because it's gonna append. Right now, it's gonna replace basically all the authentication backends, but you probably want to append this new one.
What are you saying? I commented out this one.
Yeah, but previous one was appending.
So you're saying that we want this one too? But why didn't it say add it? Like here it says add it. Leave the existing one. Here it gives you the whole section.
Maybe it assumes we have like a way simpler project.
I don't know. I think if we were supposed to leave that, it would have told us that. Unless, set your user model field to use the address provider. Set. Now, I add this to the file. Obviously, it didn't know about Web3 before. I have a feeling this is supposed to go like this. Is that right, Theo?
What exactly?
Where does this bracket go? It has to go at the beginning, right?
Yeah, but you probably, oh, try.
I think that's got to be the way it is. I don't know. Although maybe within the brackets, the indentation doesn't matter.
Even within brackets, you should still preserve some indentation. So
okay,
the same indentation. It looks all right to me. But I'm more concerned that you're not using plus equal sign. my primary concern.
Plus equal sign.
Yeah, because if you kind of let it be this way, maybe you won't be able to log in using password anymore.
I don't want to log in with password. What is it, dummy back end? Is that what you want? You want this in oh, plus equals. I see. Plus equals. You're right. I didn't know it. I didn't understand. I thought you wanted me to plus equal, leave the Zulip dummy back end in there.
You can leave it in there. It's not gonna bother anything.
You don't think it's going to bother anything? I'm hesitant to not put it in because they all right. Now this, I just lost that other thing here. Now this goes in the same file, I assume.
I know they say user model field, so maybe there is some file that's dedicated for user model that describes user model.
How would I find it? This is a it doesn't tell you where to put this stuff.
Welcome to Django. I think I found it. Yeah. Try looking at the create_user.py.
Is that under Z project?
Yeah, zproject/lib. Maybe it's not the one. I'm not sure. All I know is it needs to be importing Django contrib out models. There are several files.
I don't hear you. Create users under API. Under templates. Is that the one?
Yeah, let me share screen. It's gonna be a lot quicker. From my understanding, so this is how a user model looks like. So you import user from models and you create your class basically. So I'm trying to find something similar in Zulip project. It seems to be as close as I can find. So where it has basically all the fields for user profile, but I'm not sure if it's this we're looking for. There's a password. And we're supposed to put so it looks like it's a field. Settings. So it should be a string, right? Like this one.
Oh boy, this is a little bit scary.
So this is a property, right? Maybe it should be enough to just put it like this. It's a char field. I'm just guessing at this point.
Well,
Maybe it needs to be like a username.
So I don't know how.
This is my guess, at least. I'm not sure. Maybe it's just supposed to be username.
Yeah.
Do we even have a field called username anywhere?
I'm totally lost. But excuse me, I'm kind of hungry. Having a late lunch here. Well, I'm wondering if we can find somebody who's familiar with Django.
I'm sure we can find it if we look for it.
I think we can find it. Huh?
I mean, with some brute force, we will be able to figure it out. But I need to run the Zulip server and get the thing up and running again. Then we need to figure out where to put all of this as well.
All right.
URL patterns.
Now, when I built the Zulip and run it on my own machine, I did the run test, which doesn't do a regular login at all.
Have to be in the right place to put this in here. start it from here. Oh, I forgot.
I'm
And
not
hey,
sure
Jim.
I'm following this. I guess I'm eating lunch.
And hey, Jim, could you send me the link to that the locker we're gonna work on? You just want to drop it in the chat?
Yeah. Well, I think it's already in the channel, I believe. Let me. If we go to RChain, RChat, okay, it's issue 5 here. So that's what we're going to work on. Why don't I? What's your GitHub?
Frank?
You're probably not part of this project, huh?
No. GitHub is F Doherty 13. So the letter F, my last name, and then 13.
Doherty. Let's see, how do I add you to the project? If I put you in here, FD. HERTY. Is that right? Oh, you can't see. DOHERTY.
Yeah, DOHERTY.
So I can't assign you unless I guess I have to add you to the project, right? And and how do I add you to the project? I can't. I'm in settings, manage access.
Yeah, you don't have to necessarily add me to the project yet. I could just, if you want to send a link of the GitHub page, I just wanted to look through it before tomorrow.
All right. I added you to the project. And so I'm going to oops, that's the wrong one. Okay, the sign. That's weird.
Yeah, I still don't see any notification.
Pending invite. I see. So you have to join it. So you're Frank Edward in Discord, right?
Yeah.
I sent you the invitation. It should have been in your email. I can stick it here also.
I got nothing showing up on GitHub or my email. Let me check Discord though.
I put the link in Discord and in
Oh, there it is.
chat.
Oh, now it's saying sorry, we couldn't find that repository invitation. It is possible the invitation was revoked or you are not logged into the invited account.
Are you logged into the RChain account?
Yeah.
That's bizarre. I mean, it had your picture. Pending invite.
I mean, I have the Liquid Democracy tab open. Do you remember like which repository it was under? Was it under Locker row or Locker Git row?
But it's just the whole Liquid Democracy repro is where I added you. You should have an email to that effect, and I don't understand if you're logged into the FW account. You should see it. When you go to that link, I don't understand how you cannot see it. It doesn't make sense that it would say that.
You know, it also doesn't make sense. Look at this download speed.
What are we looking at here?
Look at this mirror download speed. 6 kilobytes per second.
Jeez.
This is loading the Web3 auth.
Yeah.
That's weird. It did take a little while.
I think I already did everything else. Except this. So that's not the requirement. I've also put this in login HTML. So we should see a button of sorts.
So I don't understand why you can't accept the invite.
Yeah, I think it's bad luck if we can't even get the invite to work. I don't know. It just keeps popping up. Sorry, we couldn't find that repository invitation.
I try again. I just changed the role.
Yeah, but I mean, I found the Liquid Democracy page just by looking it up, so I have that to look at anyways.
Oh well, if you look, okay, I have the links are in the RChat. The link to the issue 5. It's in the RChat channel, right at the end of the RChat channel.
Are you talking about the RChat on Discord or RChat as in
Yeah,
something?
RChat Discord. It's weird. Your name never comes up either. I don't understand why it never comes up.
Yeah, I saw it said you were pending on Discord, so I just accepted that. Maybe that had something to do with it.
If you're a member of the thing, though, you should come up. We don't have to be friends. I don't get it. But if I type @Frank, you don't come up. I don't know if the blank in your name is a problem or why you would have a problem.
Yeah, I don't know. That's odd.
And if I do a search in the top, I say, I don't know if you've ever, I guess you've said that you okay, Frank Edward comes up if I do from. It'll show you. But for some reason, I can't mention you. It's bizarre.
And you know what? I'm actually going to have to take off now.
All right, Frank, take care.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Theo. I know, Gary, we didn't get to talk much, but hope to see you in one of the next meetings.
Yeah, and thanks, Frank.
Yep.
So, so which run command did you type? Yeah, you're on mute.
And the error magically disappeared for some reason.
What? The error disappeared? What?
Yeah, there was an error about not being able to import this one.
Right. Well, you loaded RLP 1.0.1, right?
Yeah, you couldn't install it, but maybe it did. I don't know.
Oh.
Can get it up and running.
What's 9994? To file?
It's a port which it's being served from. Still complaining about some stuff.
What's running on 9994?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly from which port it's serving, but it's from either 9991, 9992, or 9993. I'm just trying different ones.
9991 is what I always run. It's what,
Okay.
what it was for me. But, like it's not running. Unless it was.
Okay. Now it's complaining about the field which I added. Okay, so we need to have a field called username. So that makes more sense.
Since the run dev doesn't do login, it may not be the run that we want to use.
What?
Run dev doesn't do login.
What do you mean?
It doesn't take you to the login screen.
Looks like I can fix it. It's way too complicated to add a new plugin, at least if you're not a Django developer.
Hmm. Yeah. Let me screen share here for a second. What is wrong here? What's wrong with this line?
Nothing wrong, but you also need to use.
Does it want a comma here?
No.
Okay. The thing is that it says can only concatenate tuple, not list.
Yeah, I had this error. You need to change from array. You need to replace the brackets. So replace the brackets and add regular parentheses. No, not curly brackets. Just regular parentheses.
I don't need brackets anywhere.
Nope.
Oh, that's what we had up here. I wonder why I use brackets. Oh well. I got a half set up here, so I don't know what I'm going to get anyway.
I don't know this particular error. You should just rerun your command. It should work.
Rerun the command.
Yeah, I always get flash memcached error.
So I have to do, before I do the run dev, I have to do a start services or something?
Oh yeah, is that too?
What do I have to do? I do a WS thing, something?
Yeah. Tools/VSL, yeah.
Well, it didn't break yet.
Well, it's not going to run either since you skipped half of the instructions.
I did what?
You skipped a lot of instructions, a lot of
Right.
steps.
Right. I included the plugin, but I didn't configure it. Is it running or what's it doing? It's, so I wonder why Frank can't accept this. It's weird. Nine 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 four. What? Nine 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 two. WDSL. What's WDSL? I forget. So this is like a file manager. Yeah, that's weird. We get to access the files.
There is an example Django project that uses Web3 authentication. So maybe you should start looking at that instead.
Look at what? So I was hoping I didn't break it yet, but apparently I did. Oh well. Well, thanks, Theo. We need to find a Django person, huh? So I guess we should add an issue. We should probably set it so the rewards are tied to people handling issues.
What?
We should probably make it so that the rewards are tied to people handling issues. You know, I mean, we have the 100,000 rev budget for this project.
No, not really. Zulip is a standalone project. It's not really liquid democracy or anything. So if anything, Greg should be paying for it.
Yeah, no, well, this is liquid democracy. It just happens to be on Zulip rather than on something.
Yeah, but it's still Zulip efforts. So if anything, it should be in Greg's interest to find like a Django developer.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're jumping into the unknown.
So, well, I don't know whether we did this, but I don't know whether we should have a separate liquid democracy thing. I don't know. It's confusing.
I can try looking into the example project and see if I can get it up and running.
Yeah, this was that. Oh, that would be interesting. Yeah. And we had the. That's interesting. So we need Django help. And then we have what I'm going to do. We can't get him in the project. It's bizarre. And it's like it's really weird. He so we'll try to keep a log. Oops. All right, folks. Um, I put some notes here. Um, uh, if you have anything to add, put it in the notes or the channel. I guess. Now, the log documents a little easier to follow.
I'm trying to run the example app and I'm getting a similar error. So maybe it's a bit an issue. Maybe different Python version.
Can you say what kind of error you got, Theo, in here?
Yeah, I can show it. I wrote it in chat.
Oh. Okay. Okay, folks. Thanks a lot, Theo. Good to see you, Gary.
Okay, bye.
You think you're going to be able to work on some of this Rolang stuff, Theo, Gary?
Maybe we'll see. Like I said, I will be probably busy this week with getting back online.
Well, I'm hoping that, I'm hoping to get other folks involved. I really don't want to use too much of your time. So Gary, you think you're going to be able to work on any of this Rolang stuff or Python stuff or whatever? Or you think you're mainly going to be an observer here?
I'm afraid I'm going to mainly be an observer, Jim.
Well, if you can come tomorrow, we're going to do some really basic Rolang.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. I just I get lost so quick these days.
Yeah, me too. Getting old, Gary.
I'm afraid it's true in my case. You're doing amazing, Jim. I need to figure out what you.
Well, I'm struggling. But have a good one, guys. Take care.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.